I'm Timothy Vigil, and this is Just Another Word podcast, the Word of the Day podcast for storytellers. W is for whimsy. Come with me, and you'll be in a world of pure imagination. Take a look, and you'll see into your imagination. Willy Wonka. Whimsy is often dismissed. It's fluff, a bit of colorful set dressing that belongs in children's books and candy shops. But for the serious storyteller, I think whimsy is a must. It's the art of the delightful detour, the moment where the serious plot takes a back seat to something charmingly irrational. The word whimsy or whimsical likely finds its roots in the 17th century word whim-wham, meaning a trifle or a fanciful object. To be whimsical is to be playful in an odd or lighthearted way. It is characterized by a sudden change of mind or direction that isn't driven by necessity, but by joy. It is the pure imagination that Willy Wonka champions. A world where things exist simply because they invoke wonder. Whimsy has such a powerful place in our toolbox as writers. And I think one of the ways that we can better understand it is by comparing it to another great tool, that of mischief. Mischief is an idea that we use in storytelling all the time and can often seem a little bit more literary or important than whimsy. But I think they gain their strength by being used in tandem a lot of the time. You see, mischief is designed to disrupt or provoke, where whimsy is aiming to delight and surprise. Mischief is often sharp, whimsy gentle, mischief grounded, whimsy surreal. Mischief may cause the reader to smirk, but whimsy is designed to make them smile. Mischief is about breaking the rules to see what happens, often with a bit of malice behind it. But whimsy is about ignoring the rules because they're too heavy to carry for a moment. Mischief has an edge. Whimsy has wings. Both tools have their place, but I think mischief often holds higher regard in our stories. It feels more literary. There are gods of mischief in ancient mythology. We think about it in a way that we don't think about whimsy. It makes sense as mischievous characters provide a lot for a reader. They create problems for other characters so naturally, but a whimsical character can be equally as powerful for moving your story. Think of Puck from William Shakespeare's A Midsummer Night's Dream. He is, of course, quite mischievous, but he resonates so well because he's the ultimate example of how whimsy can coexist with mischief. He doesn't ruin the lives of the Athenian lovers because he hates them. He does it because the idea of a man with a donkey's head is inherently more interesting than the alternative. He is the power of the non sequitur. Puck's whimsy manifests in his speed and in his logic. He doesn't walk. He puts a girdle around the earth in 40 minutes. He doesn't fix a problem. He complicates it with a shrug and a laugh. He isn't doing it to be intentionally mean. He's doing it because it's funny. And he lifts the tension. A Midsummer Night's Dream contains elements of high drama, death threats, forced marriages, and betrayal. But Puck is the pressure release valve. His whimsical presence tells the audience that while the stakes feel high to these mortals, the world itself is playful and strange and ultimately benevolent. Adding whimsy to a story, especially a dark or quite serious one, doesn't make the work fake. In fact, I think it does the opposite. It makes the world feel more real. Life, even at its grimmest, is punctuated by moments of the absurd and the beautiful. If a story is 100% darkness, it becomes unbearable. It lacks the contrast that makes the shadows feel truly deep. I'm reminded of the great movie Life is Beautiful, which, if you've never seen it, I recommend you do. It is dark and depressing and horrible about life in concentration camps during World War II. But the movie is about a father trying to brighten the world for his son, trying to distract him from the horrible things going on. There is whimsy even in this darkest of dark human moments, one of the lowest lows that humanity has ever gone through. And yet there is this powerful, wonderful whimsy created by a father that makes us see the beauty of a life that was taken way too soon, of millions of lives taken way too soon. Another example is Guillermo del Toro's Pan's Labyrinth. It's a brutal and heart-wrenching film set against the backdrop of post-Civil War Spain. But it's shot through with these moments of dark whimsy. There are floating fairies and elaborate chalk doors and the logic of this strange fantasy world. These whimsical elements are set against the horror of the fascist Captain Vidal. But they don't distract from it. They provide the necessary levity that allows us to get through the darkness. They represent the imagination required to survive a world that's completely lost its heart. Whimsy is the power to lift the heart. As writers, we often obsess over pathos. We study how to break a reader's heart, how to build tension, and how to evoke grief, how to make the characters feel alive, and how to make our readers feel their pain. And these are vital, but levity is equally essential for a lived-in world. We don't have to be Terry Pratchett to add a little bit of absurdity to our work. Whimsy can act as an anchor. Think of a character who is a general, and they are very specific and very meticulous, and they're really, really good at commanding troops. But they also meticulously collect tiny glass frogs. It doesn't make them less formidable, it makes them more human. This whimsical thing that they do can seem odd, but if we see them organizing these perfectly and keeping them clean, we recognize that their obsession with tiny details is what makes them such a good general. The fact that they focus so much on the individual to see the whole picture allows us both a whimsical look at them, an understanding of their soul, and a greater understanding of their character. Whimsy can add characterization and can give us a sense that a person is not simply there to fill a role, they are a person. Whimsy also adds tonal balance. Like Puck, whimsical characters act as a pressure release. After a high-tension scene, a small moment of whimsical dialogue or a strange, charming observation can allow the reader to catch their breath. We don't want to do this at the wrong or inappropriate times, but if the book is constant, high tension, eventually you'll break the reader. Now, this isn't necessarily true. You could have a book that is completely high tension. That's what high-paced thrillers are. These are shorter novels, generally 60, 70, 80,000 words. But if you're writing something that's quite long, then you need to have this whimsy. You need to have these slow moments. You need to make things feel light, even if it's just for a moment. The last thing that whimsy can do to lift the heart is by creating a world that is unpredictable. See, whimsy reminds the reader that your world isn't just a machine ticking towards the end of your plot. Sometimes things happen just because they happen. Sometimes absurd and strange things happen. And if these things are happening to your characters, and if your characters are taking part in them, it creates a sense that they are lived in places and that these are real people. Whimsy is the power of the writer to lift the heart when the story grows too heavy to hold on to. We think that most real moments are the ones that hurt, but the moments that make us wonder are just as powerful. So look for the places where you can put a little imagination into your story, where you can allow that to take root, where you can allow whimsy and wonder to have a powerful impact. Look for the character who can add levity in the heart of a desperate situation. Don't undercut your tension or render the serious a joke, but find ways where you can remind your readers and your characters that there is a light worth seeking out and fighting for. You have been listening to Just Another Word podcast with your host, Timothy Vigil. For more information, go to timothyvigil.com.